Let's head back to Denver, where they made two big moves in acquiring Aaron Gordon and JaVale McGee. Now, Zach, how much better do you feel the Nuggets are now in a West that is more up for grabs than we thought at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, they're meaningfully better. JaVale McGee is a huge upgrade at backup center. He's a rim protector that they haven't had. And Aaron Gordon, to me, is a little bit of a wild card because what the Nuggets have discovered in the last month is they are unguardable with Michael Porter Jr. at power forward and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic on the floor. And what they wanted was a guy who could guard the bigger wings and maybe some power forwards if they're more threatening and dangerous offensive players to hide MPJ, but not clutter up the floor, not clutter up the spacing, be a little faster on his feet than Paul Millsap or JaMychal Green. And they're hoping Aaron Gordon becomes that player. Shooting, a little shaky, but he's a vertical element that they haven't had. He's a kind of cutter they haven't had. He's a better playmaker than Jeremy Grant, who walked away to Detroit. So I think the price was worth it. I think it's a meaningful upgrade. They're going to need him to shoot well. We'll see what happens, but I think the fit is there, and I love what the Nuggets did today. They're a better team today than they were yesterday, and this is what you do when you have an MVP candidate in his prime. You sacrifice some future for now, and the Nuggets are going for it, and that's what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Mike Malone has been screaming all year long that Jokic need help. Everybody has been screaming that Jokic need help. Jamal Murray, again, has not lived up to expectations to what we saw in the bubble. So what did the Denver Nuggets do? They did their thing right now. They're doing their thing in this trade deadline, before the trade deadline. Getting Aaron Gordon, the athletic wing, 6'8", could guard multiple positions. By the way, shooting a career high 40% from the three-point line is a serious upgrade. Getting JaVale McGee, a guy that is a rim protector, a live threat. You could actually play JaVale McGee and Jokic at the same time because Jokic is a threat for his pick and pop at the three-point line. JaVale McGee rolling to the basket, also protecting the basket. And I liked what Denver did by adding these two players because remember, they lost Plumlee this offseason, and they lost Jeremy Grant, two guys that I thought were critical to their success in reaching the Western Conference Finals last year, and they replaced those guys by adding Aaron Gordon and JaVale McGee. So I think Denver Nuggets are doing the right thing right now, or have done the right thing thus far.
Yeah, the Nuggets made a big improvement at that. I know everybody wants to put Aaron Gordon at the wing, but I like him at that power forward spot. And I hate to say this, I played against Paul Millsap, so that means he's old. So Paul Millsap has to move to the bench and have him come off in certain situations. Also, just have him, because he's not as athletic as he used to be. He's not as consistent as he used to be. So I like the upgrade with Aaron Gordon. I like the fact they can bring him in with some energy, some dunks, some excitement, because with his dunks, it excites the team. But the thing I do hate about this trade is they have to get rid of Harris. I thought he was one of those key guys that could shoot some threes for them and provide some energy on the wing. So I'm upset about that, but I'm happy for this improvement that they have made.
Yeah, and Gary Harris, the one thing that was struggling with Gary Harris is that he was injured a lot, right? It was like when he was playing and healthy and fired up, he was the defender that they wanted. He could do a lot of things off the ball. He could play off the ball, didn't really need it in his hands. But it's funny. All of a sudden, the Nuggets struggled from last year, and they lost Jeremy Grant, they lost Plumlee. And so they're like, oh, well, we're missing what we got, what we had to let go. So they bring in Aaron Gordon, who I think is an upgrade. And then they bring in JaVale McGee. I wouldn't necessarily call it an upgrade, but it's on par.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.